Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and as always, as the leader of the pack, I am scouring the countryside looking for tips, resources, things that'll help you move your business forward. And today we've got on our second installment on the war for talent. Before we come to that, let's talk a little bit about cybersecurity. And hopefully, you were able to catch our cybersecurity interview with Scott Schneider on last week. If not, the replays are available on our YouTube channel. It's also distributed as a podcast under Wolf's Watch Podcast. The cybersecurity just gets me tongue-tied and speechless because there's so much coming at us all the time. Just wanted to do a quick update. We talked a little bit about the CAISA, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, CAISA attack from 4th of July weekend. And it turns what that company is now doing, because this was a situation where a core service supplier, see how tongue-tied that gets me? A core service supplier to hundreds, thousands of companies was hacked by a ransomware group, and that resulted in several hundred companies being immediately affected. For example, a market couldn't open because they had all of their point of sale cash machines, all the point of sale machines, registers that you see when you're in the checkout line were locked shut because their service supplier had been hacked. I think as many as 1,500 businesses had been affected by that. That was 4th of July weekend. Now, the good news is it's been resolved, and CAISA announced that they have a kind of a master key for ransomware to help prevent that in the future. So, or if something does happen, so they can decrypt and unlock and not be held hostage like that. Something to consider. Can you get access to something like that? What are your suppliers doing? You need to be talking to your suppliers. That was one of the big tips that Scott Schneider shared with us on in that interview. And it's got the wheels spinning in my head. They got me thinking about the fact that we're going to be doing some more interviews with Scott and some other leading authorities in that arena, because so much is happening. I'm just looking right here at off camera at an announcement on the internet that hackers are already distributing fake Windows 11 installs. Microsoft announced Windows 11 as the next official release of the Windows operating system that is going to roll out. It's going to be widely distributed apparently after the first of the year. And so, but some users in their, inside community or beta test community have access to it already. Yet hackers are playing off of that announcement and sending out fake, hey, here's your new Windows 11 operating system, download and install it now. Those are fake announcements. So be on the lookout. Let your team know. Don't buy into it. Work with your IT folks to get that message out to your entire team that, hey, there's no Windows 11 being emailed out, being sent out from either IT or from any place online, Microsoft or anywhere else. So don't click on that stuff because it downloads malware. Downloads, installs malware, adware, other stuff. So this is another thing to be watching out for. Wow. Now the war on talent, as if cybersecurity is not enough, the war on talent. We've been finding or hearing in the news that there's millions of people that are quitting their jobs. The Great Resignation is being called. We've got a little bit on that, and something that also is a first step in helping you combat that, to fight back. Because here's the question: who on your team that you rely on, that you would love to have on your team, you want them to stay on your team, you'd love to have them on the team long term, who's going to be leaving in the next month or two? It's very possible that some of your key people may already have a foot out the door. What are you doing to make sure that they don't? Throughout my career, when I was on the corporate side of things, I was involved in several mergers. I was working in the aerospace industry when it collapsed. So one company's buying another. And when I was working at Hughes Aircraft, General Motors bought Hughes Aircraft. And the gentleman that had hired me there was a high-performing fast tracker. He was making it into the executive ranks very quickly. Excuse me. Always makes my heart skip when I think about that guy. Steve Ogg is his name, and always be grateful to him for the opportunity he gave me to start my career on his team at that company. Another story for another time, but plays into the war for talent, because it was the kind of place that people wanted to work at, which helps you win the war for talent. When you've got a reputation in your industry as the kind of place that people thrive, that people really they can be part of something, they can really advance their career as well, then hey, that helps you with the war for talent. But coming back to the story that I wanted to share was General Motors bought Hughes Aircraft. Massive sale at the time. A massive acquisition, making headlines. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of uncertainty in the company. Maybe you've been involved with a company that was being acquired or acquiring another, and there's a lot of questions, legitimate questions. What's going to happen? Is everybody going to keep their jobs? What differences will there be? Who's going to be running things? How fast will things change, if they change at all? And when you do something like that, the reality is it always changes. It doesn't matter what people say because it's always going to change when you mix that many people together from two large organizations. We're coming from two different industries, automotive industry and the aerospace industry. Well, the gentleman that had given me the opportunity to work at that company, he was brilliant. And GM said, you know what? We want to make sure that he's not thinking of leaving. We want to let him know that he is one of the valued members of the team and that we want him to continue to be part of the team going forward. And they took great steps with him and other key executives within the company that they were buying to let them know that person was someone they wanted to have on their team. So they had opportunities for growth, financial incentives, lots of things they put on his plate. And I wasn't privy to the entire conversation. When I had asked him about it, saw him driving a very sporty General Motors car not too long after that, and we were both having a laugh, and he said, they made it very, very clear they wanted me on the team. So are you doing that for your key players on your team? Are you making sure that there is no doubt in their minds that you want them on your team? And are you doing what is necessary to find out why they're on your team, what it'll take to keep them there? We'll come back to that in a second. I want to share something with you. I got a screen share for you to share with you, and I'm going to be reading this over here. We talked about the fake windows. Let me see if I can find this. There's a lot that's going on out there, and this is what I was looking for. Am I correct? I believe so. Let's take a look at this. I'm sorry. I had this queued up and it's not playing. Yeah, there we go. On this is from ladders.com on the Great Resignation. On TikTok, there's a recruiter, a job a headhunter, we used to call him back in the day, but a job recruiter that has 300,000 followers. This is on TikTok. A job recruiter with 300,000 followers is saying that what is coming in the fall is 1 in 4 are going to be leaving their jobs. 1 in 4 employees are planning on leaving their jobs in the fall. Now, will they actually do it? Who knows? Is this just somebody getting lots of eyeballs and likes and clicks on the internet? Maybe. Here's the question. Look around your team. Look specifically at your key folks, your key team members that are making things happen, that you want to have on the team, that you want to put in, that are already in leadership positions, that you want to put in broader future leadership positions, perhaps run the company so you can spend more time, with your family, with your hobbies, vacationing and experiencing things, or getting onto that next business venture, right? Hey, entrepreneurial life, right? There's always that short list of the hot opportunities to get to. Got to get the current business running as a system so that you can devote time to the other things, like Elon Musk does. Look at what he did. SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Company. Right? He has teams running those. Who's the team that can run your company so that you can, at the very least, enjoy more free time to do the things you want to do, things that you're best at within your company, but also things outside your company. If 1 in 4 are thinking about leaving, which of those 1 in 4 key people, say you've got 12 key people in your company, that means you've got 3. I'm doing math without my calculator. I'm sorry. With 12 people, that means 1 in 4 leaving. That means you got 3 people that are going to be leaving in the fall, according to what this person's saying on TikTok. Here, let me close this out. So, what happens if that's true? What if it's just one? Another thing that I've seen happen at companies, all too often, the people you don't want stay, and the people that you do want on your team leave. They've got options and they exercise them, right? They have their plan for their lives, their families, and their careers. They follow those. Are coming back to what I asked you earlier. What are you doing to make sure they know that you want them on their team? You want them to be part of the team that's growing the company long term. And what are you doing to make sure you understand them, that you know them well enough? You got an idea what's going on in here so you understand why they're working for you. Why are they on your team? Are they there just because they got to pay off student loans? That I've heard that as a quote as to why people. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Got a visitor from Texas. Cheryl Lynn, thank you so much for joining us. Always glad to have you as part of the conversation. Very, very dear offline friend that is in Houston, Texas, a Texas girl. I know it's not a Texas accent. I apologize for that. Coming back to that question, how well do you know why they're on your team? How do you, because that alignment. So this is the bit of information that I was promising you at the beginning. Here's the key. What are you doing to understand why your key people are part of your team so that you can work with them to align where they want to go in life long term with being part of your team long term? Perhaps that includes knowing at what point you're going your separate ways so that that can be pre-planned, a happy departure, a happy separation for both of you, and that you can help them move on, achieve what they want to achieve, even if it's leaving the company. Here's why. Back to the story about Hughes Aircraft. People like Steve Ogg will be able to recruit people from all over the globe. Google does it today. Hughes Aircraft was a Google of its day. Google does it today. Google is able to capture the best talent from all over the globe because everybody wants to work there. It has a legendary work environment. The opportunities are unbelievable. If you work there for 3 years, 5 years, and have that on your resume, that opens so many doors. The connections you'll make while you're there will open so many doors. So it is worthwhile to, people will bottom line, people will walk across broken glass for an opportunity to work there. What are you doing to create that kind of environment within your company? If you help people prosper in their career while they're there and help them take that next leap up and onward when they leave. So when they're leaving and you're part of that saying, okay, here, let me give you a hand in moving upward and forward, onward when they leave your company. That will go a long way towards creating that reputation where the top talent look at your company and go, I want to be part of that. I want to work there, even if it's just for a season. I want to work there because it's the kind of place to make a name, to make stuff happen, to be part of something bigger, and to meet their goals. A company that cares about helping them achieve their goals in life as long as they're aligned with the company. And then when they're not, when that moves on, having that be a good event. I've worked with companies where they're like, well, if you're not staying here, we don't want you here. It's like, well, as an engineer, early in my career, I'm a recovering engineer, right? Early in my career as an engineer, you're not staying at the same company for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years was ridiculous. Technology moves too fast. If you're going to stay on top of technology, you can't stay with the same company because most companies are embedded in their technology. Google being a notable exception, that's part of what makes them, they're so big. They're into so many things. And this was what Hughes Aircraft was like back in the day. They're into so many different things. There's opportunities to move around and grow with the company because the company's into a lot of different technologies. You've seen Elon Musk do that with his companies. He has multiple companies in very, very different areas technologically and market-wise that offer a lot of opportunities for people that are high performers to be able to get where they want to go in life while growing with the company. So think about that. Bottom line, Which employees, which people on your team do you want to have on your team long term? What are you doing to let them know that that's the case? How well are you getting to know them so that you can help them align their goals with the company's growth? And then fourth, as a bonus, having developing the mindset so that when it's time for them to move on, and for most of them, they will. General Electric ran their executive development program like that. They knew most of their top fast track executives were going to leave the company because it was a competition for the CEO spot, and there's only one. So all the rest, they'll move on. Most of them, a few would stay. Now, I'm not advocating having that kind of adversarial competition within your company. What I am advocating is don't get develop a mindset where you can see the point if they are moving on, that you can support them in doing that in a way that's beneficial for you, the company, and for them, and for the rest of the team. Because the rest of the team is watching you. They are watching you so close on how you handle that. Because they'll be going, well, if I decide to leave, because you hear about that. Or some people that are have notorious reputations. I'm not going to name any names. In some industries, you hear in the media where there are people who have notorious reputations where they just destroy people or attempt to destroy people, attempt to damage their careers because they left their team and moved on to a better opportunity, something that was better aligned with the future that they were building for themselves and their family, and went to another company. Don't be that person. So that's just a step. So this is part of our series. This is the second in our series on the war for talent. We'll talk some more about this, and we'll have, like we did with Scott Schneider on cybersecurity, we have some leading authorities you're going to enjoy and that you're going to want to interact with as well. See, this is interactive. This is live 21st century TV. It's live, interactive, which means we can have a two-way dialogue. We bring someone on, a leading authority, for an interview. We have a multi-directional dialogue. It is, it's more like hanging out and having coffee and being able to talk through the chat. When you throw something in the comments, we're able to bring that into the conversation. You throw out a question, we're able to pose that live. We have some other things that we do to announce who's going to be on the interviews. So we have a growing community of people that are tied into being able to pose questions before they come on and make sure they get that answered, and also to get some more in-depth feedback than we have time for on the live broadcast. So that being said, stay with us on the war for talent. Consider those 4 points. Who do you want to have on your team? How are you making sure they understand, that they know that you want them on the team and you value them long term? How well are you getting to know them so that you can make sure that what you are working with them on at the company, coaching them as a team member, aligns with where they want to go in life? And 4, are you developing a mindset where you are happy to help people that have contributed greatly to your company move on to what's the next step in their journey that will move you a step towards winning the war for talent? Thanks for joining us for Wolf's Watch. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And I will see you on the trail.